I think the biggest one that I've had people talk to me about was Spotify. How
Yeah,
difficult Spotify is to work with sometimes.
most definitely.
Yeah, you don't get. I mean, you certainly don't get paid crazy. And then even we had to talk about it a couple weeks ago. We're like just trying to figure out how to get on featured playlists or just get your name out there on playlists, and it's
So much research has to be
research, and then
done.
it's like
Yeah.
this unknown thing where no one really knows how you break through on stuff. So you just have to kind of wing it and hope people like pre-save your stuff and hope for the best.
Hmm.
Mm.
For your guys' performances, do you have any sort of pre-show rituals that you go through?
So on my way to the show to warm up my voice, I'll actually run through our full set that we're playing that night, but I'll do it an octave lower, just to warm up my vocal cords and kind of get the melody lines locked in. But I'm also not straining my vocal cords and using like the energy that I need them for the actual performance. So that would be like my one thing that I do every time. What about you?
Every time. I don't know. I don't think I have like a superstitious kind of thing, or like it's mostly just like trying to warm up a little. Like usually the band before us, or like half an hour before we play, I'll try to like run through some stuff and warm up, tune up, try to stretch because I'm old and can't just wing it anymore.
Stretching is definitely important. Yes.
I still hate myself after sets, but yeah, I know like Riley is he's pretty insistent on like our guitar player. He's pretty insistent on like he usually has like he goes and warms up for a solid like 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Has like his crap light beer because that's just his pre-show thing. He wants to have a really bad light beer and warm up on his own.
Jackson's the mystery man.
Yeah,
he just shows up and smashes
it
every time.
Yeah, he hides away until we have to play, and then he shows up, sets up, and tears it up.
Yep.
And then you won't we have to search for him after our set because people want to like talk to him, or like we're asking him like, hey, can you watch the merch table? He's non-existent. You can't find him.
He's the magic man.
Just disappears.
I find him and Riley hide a lot.
Oh yeah, Riley will be in the room, but he'll be insistent on being off camera. Mm-hmm. And then Jackson is he's usually just not even here when we do this kind of stuff, or he's like on the other side of the camera. Like I just do it because they force me to.
That's right.
Do you have any influences or that significantly influenced you to start your band?
I'll be cliche and say my dad and my mom, they were always really musical. In fact, before they split up when I was a kid, they would actually play county fairs and things like that. They would sing together. And then all through like my middle school and high school years, my dad was in a folk cover band. And so I got to always go over to his band practices and like go to his performances and stuff. And that's definitely what got the bug in me. Like he bought me my first guitar, and you know, he wouldn't let me play all the shows that I wanted to because I grew up in a very strict religious household, but he was very supportive in the shows that he did approve of me playing. And so I didn't get to do as much as some of my friends did, but I definitely got a good dose of it.
Yeah, my dad was a big influence for me. He was my dad played like everything, but was a bass player, and would just watch him play and then picked it up. And then I don't know. And then I got into like metal when I was in like middle school, high school, and then watching like bands like the bass player from Kill Switch, Mike D, was just like such a fun guy to watch, like jump around and play. So I think that was a big one. But yeah, my dad, and then just getting into like 2000s metalcore.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
How often do you guys practice your newer songs before performing them?
Ooh, it takes a while.
Yeah,
a couple weeks of practice for sure to make sure we're dialed in.
Yeah, and that's assuming that we already know like which vocal lines are going to be taken by what person. Because like a lot of times the songs that we write on the album, it would be impossible for the lead vocalist to sing everything the way it's written. And so like, for example, if I'm doing a run and another vocal line comes in, Riley will take that, or Arie will take that, or vice versa. But once we get a song locked in, as far as we know that, then, you know, we like to make sure that we do have at least 5 or 6 solid full band rehearsals. And then we rehearse as a full band once a week. And then outside of the week, every day, at least everyone's supposed to be practicing on their own every day. So obviously we take days off here and there, but for the most part, like, we practice by ourselves and then we have the band rehearsal once a week.
Yeah, I think the one the Backstreet Boys one when we added to set. Yeah, it was probably like a month after we got it done. Just like, okay, everyone, make sure you know your stuff. We'll get it all together.
Yeah,
and then it was like we recorded it, and then it was like we started playing it together, and I was like, "Ooh, this song's really high.
And
we have to break this up."
And that's definitely a good point. Is when you're recording in the studio, you're recording 16 bars at a time, so you can do anything you want for 16 bars. But then once you put that together and try to actually run through it live all the way through as a band, we've actually had to like kind of change how we write some stuff. The Novellas EP, there was a lot of runs and stuff that we didn't realize when we were writing it how taxing it would be live, and so that's why we give ourselves plenty of time to practice those new songs, just to make sure we can actually recreate it live as well too.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
Yeah.
What was the best advice that you guys have been given, and what would you give to new and uprising emo bands or any bands in general?
Have fun. I think it's such a big one where, I mean, like, there is a point when you get to a level with a band where you have to treat it as a business, but I think there's still stuff where, like, I don't know, you're still playing a show, you're still playing music. Like, if you're just super tight on stage or super tight at shows, it's just not as fun, not as comfortable.
Especially if you're younger.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, like, we run our band currently a lot differently than if it was 10 years ago, if Spirits would have come out 10 years ago. So I think that for me personally, like, I'm known in the band group as the guy that's really like business oriented. I try to make sure we're not frivolously spending money, and like, I really, because I see the timeline. I'm coming up close on 40. If we make it, even if we were to make it next year, I got probably about 10 years left that people are probably even really going to be interested. I mean, no one's going to want to really come see a 50-year-old in an emo band that's still trying to make it, is basically what I'm getting at. So to circle back to what we were talking about, if you're younger, like, your primary, your drive, make sure you're having fun, like you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like there's so much, you're still getting to play music. Like, obviously you want to be serious about it, but yeah, just enjoy yourself a little bit. Like, but yeah, like you said, especially when you're younger, like.
Yeah, because I mean, for me, it's scary. Like, I went and saw Under Oath with my wife, and I mean, these guys are right around my age, maybe 4 or 5 years older. And then I look at the fact that they're celebrating 20 years of their big album that was big when I was a kid. And so I'm like, wait, these guys are as old as I am, and they're celebrating an album that came out 20 years ago. So it's like, that's why I'm definitely more business oriented. We got to get on it. We got to, strike while the iron's hot, and really try to do it as much as we can while we can. It's
Branching
a balance for sure.
Oh, definitely. Branching off of that, what is the best way that your fans can support you?
Honestly, I mean, word of mouth helps out so much. Listening to the music on your favorite streaming platforms, sharing content as far as like if we post something, sharing that out or tagging your friends in it. Obviously, buying merch and things like that definitely helps us out, but we understand that like times are rough for everybody. So there are a lot of free ways that you can help out your favorite local bands, whether it's adding them to your playlist or, sending your friend a message and being like, hey, I got this new band I'm checking out. You should check them out. So really it's the same as it's always been. Just let people know about the music that you love and try to spread that to other people.
Yeah, I think that's the big one. Like, yeah, I mean, buying merch is great because it helps us out because, like, we're not making any money, but there's also a level of, like, a lot of people won't even give you the time of day or credit if you're, like, looking at a small follower base or, like, oh, these guys are obviously aren't really there yet. So it's like, yeah, giving people a share or a like or, that goes a long way.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, I would love to thank you for coming on today, and we will definitely be doing this again. If there's any way that we can support you at all, just let us know. We will be more than happy to promote any new singles, anything.
Hell yeah. Well, no, we appreciate what you're doing for music too.
Yeah.
We try. We definitely are trying. With that being said, though, thank you again for coming on with us today. And everybody that has tuned into this, we hope you had a good time with us. And we will see you next week for another special episode. Have a great night, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Emo forever.